My name is Linda Coutant, and I'm one of your mindfulness instructors in this video series. I am certified in the Koru Mindfulness Curriculum for young people. Today, I'm going to teach you a breathing exercise that can be used anytime, anywhere to help you de-stress. It involves becoming aware of how you breathe and making a conscious effort to breathe from your belly instead of your chest. This act of becoming aware is what mindfulness is all about. The tools you will learn in this video series are all about strengthening your awareness, or what I call your mindfulness muscle. When your mindfulness muscle is strong, it's ready when you need it, such as taking an exam, handling a difficult conversation with a family member, or any situation in which you might feel stressed, overwhelmed, or dissatisfied. You may not be able to control these external factors in your life, but you can learn to control your internal responses to them. And that's important to realize because it's not really the circumstances in our lives that determine our happiness or our suffering. Instead, it's largely the way we think about and relate to these events. Almost all forms of suffering can be diminished, even a little bit, by shifting our internal approach to these difficulties. Here's an example. A friend says something to me that hurts my feelings. In reaction, I might unconsciously blurt out something equally mean as a defense mechanism. Or my mindfulness muscle can get in gear, first allowing me to recognize the emotional hurt, and then allowing me to choose a different response, such as shifting my breathing to calm myself down, changing my thoughts to recognize her remarks as untrue, and maybe even gathering the courage to tell her I'm hurt by her words. So, a first step in becoming aware is to notice how we're breathing. I'm going to pause the recording here. If you need to take a drink of water, now's a good time. I'm going to shift positions so you can see my full torso for this exercise, and I'll be right back. All right, here we are. We're going to practice belly breathing. Have you ever really paid attention to how you breathe before? I mean, we do it all day long, but do we really know how it happens? So generally, there are two types of breathers in the world. There are chest breathers and there are belly breathers. Do you know which one you are? Well, here's a way to find out. Place one hand on your chest and the other hand on your belly. Now breathe normally and see which hand moves. Now, there's not a right or wrong way of breathing, but I can tell you that there are physical benefits to breathing from the belly. So if you had your hand on your chest and it was moving, I'm going to teach you some ways to breathe from your belly instead. But first, I'm going to tell you why it's important to have a difference. So when we breathe from the belly, we're activating the diaphragm. That in turn activates the vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve is part of our physiological being. It's part of the parasympathetic nervous system. And that's the part of our body that controls our heart rate. It slows down the heart rate, slows down our breathing, both of which are a way to calm ourselves. So we actually have a built-in mechanism to de-stress. And it's in your control to activate that. So that's what's really helpful, I think, about learning to breathe from the belly rather than the chest. When you breathe from the chest, you actually can exacerbate any anxiety you might have feeling by the rising and falling of this upper chest area rather than the diaphragm down here. Okay, so if you're a little confused by this, let's take a step back. Again, place a hand on your chest and a hand on your belly. Which hand moves? All right, so if we're wanting to strengthen our ability to breathe from the belly, here is a way to do that. Again, place your hand on your belly. And what you're doing is you're pushing out as you breathe in. So you might try to actually push your hand across the room, so to speak, with each in-breath. And then your belly withdraws, comes back in as you exhale. It's also really helpful to practice this lying down on the floor. You might even want to place a book or, say, a box of Kleenex on your stomach and see if you can make it move up and down. Again, that's a lying down position. So now that you know how to breathe from your belly, let's practice it a bit longer. I like to keep my hand here when I'm first practicing this so I can see if it's actually moving. So I invite you, if you're comfortable, to close your eyes or lower your gaze. You don't have to, you can keep your eyes open if you preferred. But I want you to bring your attention to this act of breathing. Pushing out with the belly on the inhale, drawing it back in on the exhale. That is engaging the diaphragm and kicking in the vagus nerve. Let's try it a little deeper this time. See if you can elongate each breath. And a way to do this is by counting. 1, 2, 3, 4 on in breath. 1, 2, 3, 4 on the exhale. How's it working? If you need to return to chest breathing for a minute just to catch your breath, that's fine. Now perhaps try belly breathing with your hand removed from your belly and see if you can do it. Belly breathing may seem strange at first, but with practice, it really will make a difference in how you can control your breathing and control your own stress levels. Again, this is a built-in mechanism in our body to actually calm ourselves down. So it's especially useful then in a stressful situation. If you find yourself feeling anxious, a bit stressed, take a pause, notice how you are breathing, and then make a conscious effort to come back to breathing from the belly and activating the diaphragm. And see what that does to your stress levels. It may actually reduce them, and that is our goal. So, again, belly breathing. This is something that you can practice for 5 minutes a day. It's a good way to practice your mindfulness muscle and give it a good little workout. And with time, you'll start to automatically breathe from the belly. And you may notice a calmer sense about you all the time. Now that you know more about belly breathing, let's engage in an actual breathing meditation where we spend a few minutes focusing on the physical sensation of our breath. We can use our breathing as an anchor to the present moment. And many people will spend several minutes a day just quietly focusing on their breath. It's a way of strengthening our mindfulness muscle. I suggest 5 to 10 minutes of this a day. Some other length of time might work well for you, but let's engage in this practice now. So I invite you to get into a comfortable position, preferably with your feet on the floor. I invite you to close your eyes if it feels comfortable, or just soften your gaze. I'll ring a bell and begin a guided meditation focusing on the breath, and then I'll ring the bell again when we're done. Let's first become aware of our bodies seated in the chair. Much as we did with the body scan, just take a quick moment to assess what feels comfortable, what feels uncomfortable in our body right now, releasing any tension. And now let's shift our attention, shift our awareness to the physical sensation of breathing. You may practice your belly breathing or chest breathing if that is more natural to you. You might focus on the rise and fall of your chest, pushing in and out of your belly, or perhaps the sensation of the air passing through your nose. The point of this exercise is to simply bring awareness to the physical sensation of breathing. Thoughts may come and go, and as they do, we simply acknowledge them, observe them, and return our focus to our breathing. Breathing in and breathing out, we pay attention to breathing. As thoughts enter your mind, just acknowledge them and lovingly and gently return your focus to your breathing. This is your anchor to the present moment. You might try lengthening each inhale and each exhale, deepening your breathing. Recalling that with each belly breath we take, we exercise the diaphragm, which can lower our heart rate, deepen our breathing, becoming a calming mechanism. I invite you to open your eyes. This is a short meditation, but it gives you a sense of what a breathing meditation can be like. I encourage you to try this on your own. So, your assignment in the coming days is to practice breathing. Notice whether you're breathing from your chest or your belly, and then make a conscious choice to breathe from your belly using your diaphragm. Practice breathing this way for at least 5 minutes. With openness and curiosity, see what happens as a result. Have fun, and I'll see you next time.